The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
What an abrupt end.
Yo. Oh, I don't actually remember how that video goes.
That is an old school one from when we took a
is.
sabbatical a long time
It
ago.
is.
How
It
fitting
is.
that it fitted back in today.
Yeah, I'm glad you found it, Magsy. I'm glad you found it. We had a little discussion earlier, didn't we? Saying,
Well, no, you dictated. I wanted
no,
to
hang on.
run with it.
Hang on. I didn't dictate anything at all. I said I think it's for the best.
And I'm the boss
that we-
around here, so we'll do it now.
Oh, fuck me. Right, we've been gone how many weeks? And it's took 30 seconds before you started acting like a bellend.
See, this is how he treats his staff.
Stuff. Oh my god.
The work
Stuff.
morale at
least
this place is in the toilet, folks.
At least it's not like up at Mag's Towers, where, when you got one making you a sandwich, another one acting as a footrest under your desk. God knows what the third is doing.
I wish I had somebody to make me a sandwich.
Oh dear. On that note then. On that note, Ayo, we are back once again. My word. And a Monday, Magsy. Really old school, this, isn't it? Chain Wrestling Live on a Monday.
I suppose it's only because it's bank holiday. We'll soon flick round the schedule willy-nilly as we have done recently.
I think it normally works like Tuesday night, so we ended up being better, doesn't it, going forward? But we'll have to see. We're going to do as best we can, aren't we? As best we can. But it's been a little while, Mags, hasn't it? We've had August. August tends to go that way for us, doesn't it? With like family holidays. I book a festival or two, and so on, doesn't it?
But you found out this year that you can't hang anymore, really, haven't you?
Fuck you know.
Yeah, it's been a weird kind of break this time though, because there's not been anything specifically bad that's kept us away. It's just bad timing with a lot of things happening week after week after week.
Yes, indeed. I was rough when I came back from the first festival. Fucking hell, was I rough. So I thought it was just because, I was there for 3.5 days. I'm not used to that anymore, going to the festivals that long. They're normally 2 days or whatever. I was there a bit longer. Wasp played as well, who are one of my favourite metal bands. They played the Saturday night.
And E17 and Backstreet Boys played back-to-back, didn't they? So you were singing away.
They did. Literally back-to-back. They were on the stage, pressed against each other, shoulder blades touching.
Baby, if you've got to go away.
No, it was a great time. And the Wasp played the Saturday night. First time I've seen Wasp in a couple of years. One of my favourite bands. I went absolutely freaking crazy for 2 hours. The Sunday, I was like, shit, that was a mistake. I can't do that anymore. And then I got home on the Monday and I was like, man, I feel rough. But I put it down to a whole weekend of excess and pretending I was 21 again, which
Debauchery.
obviously I'm not. Yeah. And then I got worse. And then I got worse. And eventually we figured out this isn't right because you're supposed to get better. And I was going the other way.
Mm.
Oh, my God, I was so bad. So ill. To the point where I'm thinking, like, did I have COVID again? Maybe? I don't know.
I think for next year you go for the single day ticket because
Well,
weekends are not for you now. Time has caught up with you, Si. You are not a spring chicken anymore. You're knocking on
maybe.
50's door, mate.
Fuck you. I'm 44, you prick.
It's closer to 50 than it is to 30.
Well, there is that. Yeah, there is that. Yeah. So, well, we've already. Well, the second festival I got home from yesterday, and I did my standard go to bed for a couple of hours, woke up, and I was all right again. So, thank God for that. But I want to give a shout out to that particular festival, Stone Dead. It's ran by a gang of volunteers. It's all non-profit, and it's grown in number and reputation over the last 8 years. But with COVID, they've done 7 festivals. They're booking some real good sized bands now. And it's now got this reputation. And again, nobody does it for money. This is just a gang of people who used to run their own little rock night in a pub and put on a festival. It's now got this amazing reputation where on the Saturday of the festival, the pre-sale tickets went on sale at 10 o'clock and they sold out all 1,200 of them in 4 minutes.
That's brilliant.
On the day of the festival.
That's amazing.
The Sunday, so the following day when everyone's on their way home, general sale sold out. So without a band being announced, next year's festival is already completely sold out. You know, fair play. That must feel so good.
It's the community, though, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, how many people do you see every single year at the same festivals?
Yeah, we go and
a little group together, don't you?
Yeah, we go and we meet a group from Leicester. There's a group. There's a couple of married couples from up north. There's some brilliant people that we meet. Becky and her friends, Dan and his friends. Some fantastic people. And the group's growing all the time as well. It's awesome to see them every year. So yes, and that's what you pay a ticket for. And then you just hope that they book bands that you like.
Yeah. Or you'll find out some new bands that you're going to like.
Well, this is the main thing about that festival, mate. I've discovered some brand new favourite bands. So there we go.
Like on that Waddy.
Well, you say about that. Sweet
Lionel
played this year.
The Communards.
Do you remember Sweet?
They weren't my era, but I'd know
of the band era.
Sweet.
But Sweet, well, the last one guy who's still remaining and other musicians, the rest of them are dead. They played. And Ballroom Blitz and all that sort of stuff. And I'll tell you what, middle of the afternoon, sun blazing, that was a proper good old sing-along. That was just what everyone needed. It was really good. So, yeah. That was
apart from you, who needed to save your throat for this show.
Well, there we go. It's amazing, though, how when you're just starting to lag at 2, 3 o'clock at a festival, a couple of vodka rebels and picks you right back up.
And a bit of cocaine and you're laughing.
Anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live and SJP World Media Production, episode 170 fucking 7. My word, 177 times, unbelievable.
145 live.
My word, that's that. I am Si, and with me, as always, is the Eradicator. To my urinator, because that's what I did all night long at that festival, and I hate getting up out of a sleeping bag when it's dark. It's really
that's
hard
why
work.
he wears adult nappies, folks.
Sod that, I just pissed the bed. The Flair, to my need of care, which is what it felt like when I came back from those festivals. I am getting old, my knees can't handle it. A podcaster who, no jokes, no silliness, genuinely missed. Lord Mags, my friend.
Do you know
I like the new hat.
Oh, thank you. This is a tractor company. Hopefully I'm not a class tractor fan, but hopefully tractors will be in my near future. But yeah, I miss you too as well, Buggerlugs. It's weird. It's weird how I'll see your face every week and just want to strangle you. But I miss a couple of weeks and then
to strangle me.
Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it?
Oh, in theory. In theory. I bet there's some people in the chat who are, they got nothing better to do. And that's why they're joining us as opposed to missing us.
To be fair to the chat, I mean, we have this every single time we have a break. We have that worry that people are not going to tune in and people are not moved on. And to see straight away the same faces commenting and joining in, we love it. We absolutely love the fact that we can take a break and you're still there by our sides. You guys are amazing. You're the heartbeat of this show. Simple as that.
100%, Magsy. And on that note, shall we scan through the chat and see who has joined us before we get into a little bit of a catch up on the news? I suppose a lot's happened, hasn't it?
Yes, there has. So we'll start with Pigs Bladders. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice to see you. He says, fine. I'll watch Raw later. What do you want? We just want to spend a bit of time with you, discussing some wrestling, discussing some other stuff, and generally just having a good old chin wag. So hopefully you'll stick around, sir. Matt, badly played games. He says, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, sir. How are you? And he is a star because he has reposted the stream multiple times. See, like
share it
Matt.
everywhere.
Matt is the person to be like.
Share the YouTube link as well. Grab that, share it out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can.
Matt, somebody in the know, knows what you're like behind the scenes. You put on this facade of nonchalant, and he says, no, you dictated. Never change, boys. So we didn't cover what you dictated. So I'll cover it now, but before we go back to the chat.
We didn't dictate anything.
So yesterday, Sam messaged and said, I think we should switch up the intro. So I said, well, why is that, Sam? He said, oh, it's because it's got Hulk Hogan in. And so I said, and I think it's a bit disrespectful to basically be bad-mouthing him now he's dead. So I said, but it's about him telling lies, and he was a liar. Plus he's dead, so maybe fuck him. And so I went, no, we can't do that. He was my hero as a kid.
I didn't say that.
And he changed wrestling for the better. So all praise Hulk Hogan, he said.
I think you're paraphrasing quite a bit. You're paraphrasing quite a bit to what actually happened.
Maybe like kind of buttering up a little bit in the comments, but it was around those lines. You said, don't play that Hulk Hogan intro and slag off my dead hero, or else there'll be consequences. That's kind of the gist.
How's about we get to Hulk Hogan in a little bit? How's about that?
Steve-O from Defco Dashcam, got that right first time, says, welcome back. I'll have you on watching Liverpool. Ooh, that's a very interesting tie with the old Isaac saga going on, isn't it? Nothing to add there, Buzzy. Sharon.
No, I don't really care.
The first lady of the SJP World Media Network says it's Monday night. You know what that means. Yeah, it's time for some chain wrestling. Matt says, oh, there's a classic there. I think it's all over joke there, sir.
What was that? I missed that.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know that one, Matt. The best thing on that show was it called Lee Hurst, the comedian?
The bald dude. He's a knobhead now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a racist kind of right-wing knobhead. But he did an impression, I think it was of Emlyn Hughes, and basically he just pretended to get pissed and fall off his chair. And I still remember that. It was absolutely hilarious. We've got Morty in the chat. Hello, sir. Hello from Cardiff. Morty sent me a video. It might have been a few days ago by the time I checked it, but it was an advert for rags that he was taking the piss out of Fitch, and it was fucking brilliant. So I think he should share that on his socials because it was absolutely amazing. Morty says he's had a lovely call from you and your flowing locks from the festival. Was it post or pre Backstreet Boys?
It was middle of the afternoon, so I was pretty drunk, to be fair.
Okay, so
he said he missed me, so I video called him for a few seconds.
Matt says, I genuinely thought he meant wasps, as in the egg chasing mob. I mean, he is from Gloucester, so wasps would be his mortal enemies, wouldn't they? Surely.
Where isn't it Bath that Gloucester? Sharon will know. She's more of the rugby fan than I am. I think Bath are the Gloucester biggest rivalry. I think,
but it's still wasps are wankers, aren't they?
I don't really care.
Connor, how are you, sir? He says, howdy. And Pig's Bladder says, This leads perfectly into our non-wrestling topic. He says he's not seen Wasp in about 35 years.
Wow. Okay.
That is very old.
Mm.
And according to Moore, apparently your next gig is with Morty to go and see Alan Fletcher.
Alan
But
Fletcher is.
That's not his name. Maybe it's Jessica Fletcher, and then it might be Carl Fletcher.
It's Dr. Carl Fletcher, isn't it, from Neighbours?
So not Calvin Fletcher, the British touring cars and former Emmerdale star? No? Okay.
No.
What about Norman Fletcher from Porridge?
You have a job on, wouldn't you? He's dead.
Oh,
It's played Cheltenham, I think. Not Norman Fletcher. Genuinely, like the guy who plays Carl Fletcher in Neighbours, he's got a band and he tours the UK. He's playing
his band have cameoed in Neighbours, haven't they, before?
Yeah.
So Matt says apparently Busted did download last year and the crowd went mad for him.
Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was the year 3000, weren't it?
Ah, yes. Venga Boys played a small stage this year and the crowd went mad for them as well.
I mean, how could you not? Venga Boys are classic.
Exactly. It's proper sing-along shit, oh, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Matt says Darren Fletcher, the TNT commentator.
No, it's not him.
And then Matt says he's done a lot of reposting on Twitter today. And Sharon's sharing the stream. Sharon, you are a gem. You're an absolute gem.
And
Tom Fletcher from McFly. Why has this got into name that Fletcher? Yeah. Connor as well. Do you know, you guys are fucking awesome. TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher, who was one of the stars of the weekend of wrestling this week. His match with Hiromu Takahashi was elite. It was superb. Then Matt says Lee Hurst and David Gower had a running joke of a Filipino boy under David. I remember that. Oh, yeah. David Gower's desk as a footrest and among other uses. This does not shock me in the slightest, but Backstreet Boys was Matt's jam back in the day. And then standing ovation for me for the year 300 jokes. I'm here to please. And then Morty says, I don't know how to share shit, but I would if I could. Well, learn. That's the chat caught up with.
Go on to X or Twitter, find the Chain Wrestling account and the SJP World Media account, and just retweet shit.
Resheet it.
Resheet it. Go on YouTube, click share, and take the little link from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, every day's a school day.
Okay, that was weird. Jinx! Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this bank holiday Monday evening. Magsy, we have a lot of responses to our non-wrestling topic. A wrestling match that I think we're going to take a bit of time over as well. So I think it's quite important that we dive into talking about what's happened since we've been away.
Okay.
Because there is quite a bit to discuss, quite a bit to cover. But also you have a regular segment that's returning as well. So do you want to do that first, or do you want to dive into the news?
Neither. I want to do this first.
Chicken News with Mags, only on Chain Wrestling.
So I wanted to do this first because it's a little bit sad. But if you remember way back when, the last time we had some chicken news, I spoke about Archie the rapey duck, who was targeting one of the little chickens for some interspecies shenanigans.
Some feathered struggle cuddles, I think is the way to look at it, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, that chicken did end up succumbing to basically because ducks have a curly penis, it tears the inside of non-ducks. And he damaged her, and unfortunately she had a day where she was really sluggish and slow, and you could tell that it was coming. So about half an hour later she just closed her eyes for the final time. So not only is Archie a rapist, he's also a murderer. Mm-hmm. And to make matters even worse, we then sectioned the ducks off away from the chickens. So you couldn't chicken rape again. And unfortunately, one of the ducks passed away as well. So in the past few weeks, we've had 2 birds die. So now we've only got 3 ducks and I want to say 8 chickens. But yeah, unfortunately, it happens. The life of a farmer, if you have livestock, you are going to have dead stock.
Yeah, of course. But it's still not nice, though, is it? So
no.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, mate. So
it is what it is. They were delicious, though.
Fuck's sake. Let's move on, shall we?
We didn't eat them. They got a poultry burial, aka put in the bin.
Put in the bin. Anyway, do you want to discuss somebody that you're not too fond of this particular week, Mags, or shall we talk about other things that have gone on in our absence?
So, do you want me to do the other regular-ish segment? I'll have to find I found the button.
Pitbull, tick alert!
Oh, a teeny weeny.
So, people who know me will know that I am a big fan of MMA. Used to do a podcast about said subject, and it always interests me when you get MMA/wrestling crossovers. Unfortunately, this past week there's been a crossover that has not been as well accepted as recent. So there's an MMA fighter called Quinton Rampage Jackson. You did a little stint in TNA. You probably know him from that if you're not a fan of MMA.
I know that one. I know that one.
So his son is called Roger Jackson, and he's also a budding MMA fighter. But he was involved in an incident at Knox Pro Wrestling recently, which is, I think that's the wrestling academy run by Rikishi, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's kind of like a feeder system for WWRD and kind of affiliated with WWE. And there was a wrestler on the show who goes by the name Psycho Stu, a guy called Stuart Smith. And an incident happened between the two whilst Roger was streaming live on his Kick account. So he essentially streams his whole life, and he was going to this wrestling show and he streamed all of his time at this wrestling show, and he was backstage, and there was supposedly a planned incident where Psycho Smith brushes off Roger Khan as just a fan and hits him with a beer can. But this Roger Jackson has got a very short temper. So him being hit with his can has wound him up. One of his friends who was with him at the show was also kind of like pouring fuel on the fire and kind of making him madder and madder. And then also apparently his viewers on his Kick stream were kind of like egging him on to react. So the spot was meant to finish with him entering the ring and kind of squaring up to this Psycho Stu to maybe lead to something further down the road. But what actually happened was he slid into the ring. He picked up Psycho Smith, slammed him to the floor, knocked him out, and then proceeded to basically bash his face in. Stu Smith ended up with losing most of his teeth. He had multiple broken bones in his face. It was a point where he was choking on his own blood and his own teeth. And basically this guy who couldn't control his temper has absolutely beat the living piss out of this wrestler. Thankfully, another wrestler came in to the ring, got the guy in a headlock, and even had to bite him to get him to stop, focus on beating down this Sarko Stu. He was then ejected from the building, still on his Twitch, his Kick account, and he was told that the guy was still unconscious, and he said, "Oops, my bad." Now his dad also commented. His dad was also on Kick at the same time, essentially doing a watch along of his son's stream, and his dad basically tried to defend his son's actions, saying that he's got anger issues, and he just hopes that this Stu Smith is okay. But he does. His son doesn't know about wrestling. Doesn't know that things are pre-planned and things like that. So yeah, my pimple dick is this Roger Jackson, who he needs to be in prison. And thankfully, the local police are investigating, and hopefully he's going to get charged, because he's made a mess of this Sarko Stu. So first of all, Stuart Smith, hopefully you'll get better very, very soon.
Yes.
And Raj, you are an absolute prick.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. What an absolute bastard.
Scumbag.
It's just the attitude that a certain generation has sometimes, don't they? When they get a bit of fame, they have a chip on their shoulder. They believe acting a certain way is the way they're going to be, and they think they can get away with whatever they like because of maybe who they are, who they know, whatever.
And
a lot of it.
And social media plays a massive impact in it, because he's got a lot of fame through this Kick stream account that he has, and his social media followers egging him on and winding him up. They are as much to blame for this as he is.
Yeah, I think they're responsible, but I also think that this shows a huge lack of not only control and so on from this person, but also a huge lack of intelligence. He's obviously just a stupid fuck who can't. He's just got one brain cell. He's just a fucking amoeba, isn't he? What a scumbag. Yeah, you're 100% right there, Magsy. 100% right. Absolute dirtbag. Since we have been gone, then there's a couple of things that I think we need to discuss. We'll get on to this weekend's wrestling in a moment, because there was a lot of it, of course. I only saw AEW, just to prefix that, so I've not watched NXT or anything like that. There's a lot of stuff going on. There was two big names from my childhood who have passed, and many people's childhoods who have passed away. We'll address the, shall we say, slightly more controversial one first. Hulk Hogan obviously died whilst we were away for a few weeks. Now, we all know Hogan's shortcomings in later years, of course. Not a pleasant person, said some horrific things, doubled down on some horrific things as well, which obviously doesn't help his cause. But also, to any wrestling fan of a certain age, this guy, before you grow up and realise that Terry Bollea was a scumbag, Hulk Hogan was your hero. Hulk Hogan was a huge part, I would say one of the biggest parts ever of making this business what it is today. And I do believe, regardless of what people think about how he ended up with regards to how he behaved and things he said and so on, that does need bearing in mind. And obviously, bad people sometimes do good things, and obviously, good people sometimes do bad things. I'm not defending Hulk Hogan's actions or comments or the sheer disgusting comments he made at times in his later years. Well, sometimes not even in his later years. Sometimes, in the 90s, whatever. But at the same time, again, show me someone who tells me they've never made a mistake, or show me someone who tells me they've never done something wrong or said something that they shouldn't have, and I'll show you a fucking liar. And there we go, Maxie. That must mean. No, I'm joking. I actually like to look at Hogan now he's gone from the viewpoint of the 7-year-old kid whose mum rented in videotapes. That guy was a hero to so many and effectively helped create this business with another absolute fucking wrong'un in Vince McMahon. Hugely important. Obviously, as a grown-up, I 100% think fuck Hulk Hogan. But at the same time, I think it's a real shame that anyone is in a position to be able to say fuck Hulk Hogan and be correct, which we all are because of how he is, because of what he meant to the business and meant to a lot of kids. And it's very difficult verbalizing. It's very difficult verbalizing it properly. I'm not going to sit here and shed tears over Hulk Hogan by any stretch of the imagination. But I think back to when I was that young kid, that fan, and it was always, for certain people of a certain age, it was, are you a Hogan fan or a Warrior fan? Well, I loved them both. But I saw more of Hogan for a while just because of the videotapes we happened to get.
Mhm.
It was complete chance. And of course, the whole NWO stuff is groundbreaking, still being copied to this day. Never, again, as good as the original, but still being copied to this day. Hogan is not only was the greatest babyface of all time, he had the greatest heel turn of all time, and one of the greatest heel runs of all time. And you also think as well about the charity work that guy had done in his life. There was a lot of good that this bad person also did. I think is what I'm trying to point out. It's very easy just to go, yeah, fuck Hulk Hogan. There's more to it than that, and I wish it was black and white, but it's obviously not. There's a lot of grey areas when it comes to this guy. But the biggest thing I got to think about as well, and I think other people need to remember, is when they're putting on social media and so on, he was a piece of shit, he was this, he was that. There are kids and grandkids who have lost a dad and a grandfather. Regardless of the wrestling people's mindset, regardless of wrestling fans' mindsets on this, that was a real person. Yes, that real person, Terry Bollea, was at times pretty vile with things he said and did, but that was a real person who had kids and grandkids who loved him. So I think that's quite a shame as well. So I want to try and remember Hogan, the hero, and then Hogan, the villain in the black and white, as opposed to Terry Bollea, the quite hugely flawed, sometimes nasty person.
Yep,
I don't really know what I was trying to get across there, but hopefully I manage to,
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, you can. Some people, it's very hard to separate the man from the character. I mean, I would never begrudge anybody from absolutely forgetting everything about Chris Benoit because of the horrific things that he did. But with Hogan, Terry Bollea, the man, did some terrible things, said some terrible things. Was an absolute arsehole of a human being. But we, as a community, would not be here now to be able to discuss this had he not carried the business on his back during the 80s and early 90s, and then turned the business on its head in the mid 90s and done the exact same thing again. This business would not be the same without the character of Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea, suck a dick.
I will 100%.
I am sad that the character of Hulk Hogan is gone, because that guy was a hero to so many. He was a villain to so many, but he put food on thousands of wrestlers' plates because of the actions he took as a wrestler. He's putting food on their plates now because of the industry that he had a massive part in building. So for that, I can't be 100% fuck Hulk Hogan,
because he's created. 100% shedding a tear either, can you?
Yeah,
it's that kind of middle ground that you're stuck in,
I'm not gonna cry for Hulk Hogan. I am sad that the wrestling business that I love has lost one of its pillars. But I can also acknowledge that he was an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And whilst we're on the topic of Hogans, you may all remember Randy Hogan, the guy who used to work as an
friend of the
enhancement
show.
Friend of the show. He's recorded us little clips and so on that may come back up in the new intro if I can incorporate it somehow. He's fallen on a few hard times recently. We still keep in touch, me and Randy and his wife. We're on Facebook and we message and so on. Randy is a top bloke, absolutely fantastic. Loves the fans, loves doing what he's doing. He's had issues with his mobility. He's using a walker now. He's got a mobility scooter. He should use, according to his wife, more often than he does. But he's a bit naughty, she says. So yeah, Randy Hogan. He's had a few issues, but he's still fighting away there. So if you look for a Hogan to feel good about and support, there's your guy, because this guy is top draw. We love Randy Hogan.
Yeah,
And one of the best people I've ever spoken to since I started podcasting. Absolute legend.
well, him and Mantor.
Look, fuck Mantle, that cunt. Oh, sorry.
It wasn't me, folks. Not guilty this time.
Oh dear. And I suppose we better move on fairly quickly because we've got so much to cover. In the same week, we lost Ozzy Osbourne, who was another, I suppose, WWEF Hall of Famer, but in the heavy metal world, the hard rock world, this guy, yeah, 100%. This guy, if you imagine the influence that Hulk Hogan had on professional wrestling, Ozzy Osbourne was that to heavy metal and that industry. I know many of our listeners and people in the chat and so on are rock and metal fans, or maybe might not even be rock and metal fans. They're just intelligent enough to know this already. So I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, but I feel I need to explain if anyone listens who's maybe not into this kind of scenario and know Ozzy from the Osbournes TV show, or see this doddery old man on the screen who was very poorly at the end of his life. Ozzy Osbourne was the lead singer for Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath effectively invented heavy metal in Birmingham in the late 60s. They were a band under the name Earth. They were about to go out on tour. I think they were heading out to Germany, and their music had a little bit more of a folk rock kind of vibe to it. Before Tony Iommi, they were looking for a new sound, trying to do something different because lots of bands sounded like them. Tony Iommi, working in the metal press factories in Birmingham at the time, the guitarist, had a little bit of an accident and cut off the ends of his fingers a couple of days before the tour. Thinking, oh, Streef, I can't let the band down, he made his own fingertips out of melted bottle caps and bits of tape, stuck them to his fingers, and that was where the heavy crash of the guitar came from initially, and it was often then duplicated by different ways of playing the guitar and so on. Ozzy Osbourne eventually ended up getting kicked out of Black Sabbath because even though they loved their drugs, Ozzy liked them just that little bit more, and it caused a few problems. It led to some wonderful stories about his drinking and drug days. Lots of people have an Ozzy story. Some great ones out there from his wife as well, because they could laugh at it. Because he got better, he kicked that habit. He managed to get over his demons, to coin a wrestling phrase. And as much as many people think she's a bitch, me included, Sharon Osbourne did a wonderful job in picking Ozzy up when he was kicked out of Sabbath. Sharon's dad was Black Sabbath manager. He said he wanted nothing to do with Ozzy. Sharon took him on herself, managed Ozzy, and he went on to have a second career, another huge level of success in the slightly more glammy metal side of 80s metal. Some fantastic albums he released during that era as well, and became bigger than Sabbath in the 80s and the 90s. Sabbath were nowhere near his level. In his later years, of course, he was very ill. He had, considering what he put his body through, a very good innings, I feel. And one of the lasting memories I'm going to have about this particular few weeks of our absence is every gig I've been to, and I've been to a couple, and the festivals I've been to too, the outpouring of love for Ozzy Osbourne. Whenever it was mentioned by the band on stage, people were just talking about it at the bar, and the amount of tributes that artists have paid by playing Ozzy stuff, and the emotion that can be in a room or a massive field with 5,000 big, fat, sweaty, bearded metalheads, just by hearing a bit of music in that scenario is quite incredible. It's quite an amazing thing what music can do. And Ozzy influenced so many people by just being a brilliant guy, or with what he did with his music. So yeah, this one is 100% a tear in my eye moment. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne, and thank you for absolutely fucking everything. I guarantee if you've ever listened to a band that played on the heavy side of things, somewhere along the line, they were influenced by Ozzy.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's how big and important guy this was.
And at least now the bat population will be safe.
Well, maybe. But there we go. Yeah, some big losses in the world, especially for people who grew up in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah,
Should we dive through the chat, Magsy, and have a look what
we shall.
people
So
are
we'll
saying?
go to this one. Sharon, she says, I feel everyone knows I still love Backstreet Boys to this day.
She does.
I do not say Backstreet Boys to mock. They have had some banger classic hits. I don't mind a bit of Backstreet Boys, to be fair. Matt says the gin is open. Entertain me, boys. Gin, the depressives drink.
That right there. If Matt ever got famous to the point where people would want to read his autobiography, that right there is the title.
I mean, could do with a comma maybe in entertain me, boys, instead of entertain me, boys. That's connotations there. And then Matt says, Sharon, we should talk Backstreet Boys sometimes. Look at this. Just the community coming together. So they're going to have a chin.
Yes.
That's a podcast there. The Backstreet Boys podcast.
Why? There you go. He's drinking
Coming
tonight as
soon.
well, Matt. So Sharon's going to start getting messages now. He's going to slip in my wife's DMs, as the kids would say.
I feel that you don't have anything to worry about in that regard, sir. Morty says, oh, by the way, I've just forgot to say this is Chain Wrestling Report, so please chain this moment, lads and ladies. Fuck Roger Jackson. Yep, exactly. Fuck him. Morty says he's not sure that it's murder, probably just chicken slaughter. That could also be read as chicken's laughter, which is a bit cruel, mocking the death of a chicken, Morty. So maybe think on your actions there and reflect.
Come on, mate. Come on. Be better than that.
So Matt says to Morty, listen to this week's Good Cop, Bad Cop. It's going to feature put in the oven, Mags. That's mean. See, it went in the bin. So there is actually specific rules that you have to have with disposing of poultry, and you have to double bag them and put them in the bin. You can't bury them. You're not allowed to bury them in case they died of an infectious illness.
like bird flu and stuff. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pig's Bladder says this is rough as fuck. And then Matt says rougher than the school that he grew up in. The Roger Jackson stuff, grim. It's horrible. An animal. He's an animal. And then Matt says, Rikishi can get in the bin after saying Naomi was unprofessional for getting pregnant whilst champ. I mean, Rikishi, God love him, he has some weird ass takes when it comes to his family and their wrestling booking on X. Me thinks he's had a few too many concussions. And then Pig's Brother says it was Rikishi and Gangrels. Yeah, I knew he shared it with somebody. I couldn't remember who his partner was, but they're a feeder system for WWE. Morty says that Stu was an army veteran with PTSD. Pig's Brother says his dad was egging Roger on too. Yeah, so clearly people who know he had a short fuse were pouring petrol on the fire. And so I feel that they're as to blame because they knew what the outcome would be. Pig's Bladder says probably the worst incident he's seen in a wrestling ring. Yeah, it's absolutely grim. Matt says as someone who's trained to wrestle, it sucks when you get hit normally. That sort of thing gives indies a bad name. And Morty says there's also videos of Stu apologizing to Roger several times, even though he thought they were working, and Roger accepted it all before this. The video after the fact shows that Roger has real deep issues. Yeah, and also, like I said, his kick stream watchers were egging him on. His friend was kind of winding him up, and again, his dad was pouring fuel on the fire. Yeah, absolute arseholes. Pig's Bladder says it was premeditated at the end of the day. He deserves a long stay in prison. And the videos captured him telling people what he was going to do. So he already knew that he was going to do it. Well, now, absolutely, it's worse and worse. Badly played video games. Matt says it was disturbing, and I've seen New Jack try to kill somebody. Well, there was a comment from somebody who was in the crowd and they said they were also there for the mass transit incident.
Okay. Yeah.
And that person said this was worse. This felt worse than the mass transit one.
Right. Okay. I mean, the mass transit one famously ended up being what, a 17-year-old kid getting stabbed by New Jack and blood pouring everywhere, and it was pretty intense stuff.
Pigs Bladder says, in the immortal words of Iron Sheik, fuck the Hulk Hogan. And then Mort says, sometimes you have to disassociate the character with the man behind them, afraid. People love Stone Cold, but forgot to forget that he's a wife-beating bastard. Yeah, I mean, to have a hero in wrestling is to worship somebody who is going to be inherently flawed, because behind the razzmatazz and the in-ring stuff, it's a murky business. It's full of knuckleheads and drugs and arseholes and steroids, and these people are generally not a nice bunch. I mean, it certainly has got better over time. I mean, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, these people were on the road all year, getting up to some things that would turn your stomach. So yeah, to hold one of a wrestler in such a high regard, you're setting yourself up for failure, isn't it? Because they are going to generally turn out to be a bit of a prick behind the scenes. Matt says, greatest heel turn of all time. That might be debatable. Okay, debate. What?
No, it's pointless, because it is the greatest heel turn of all time. There are other ones that are fantastic, but this changed the business, so debate over.
Yeah, Pig's Bladder, and again, I massively appreciate differing opinions on this. He says, for him, he tarnished his image too much for him to be really pushed the bullshit to one side. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I can totally understand that point of view.
I adore Chris Benoit's work in the ring. His style of wrestling is literally what I want to see. That's my style. Virtually every box is ticked. It's so difficult to watch a Benoit match now because of what happened. It is what it is, isn't it? It's so difficult, you know?
Absolutely. Matt says, as he says, it might be he's not drunk enough to debate now. And it's also 1-0 Liverpool with Gravenberch with a 30-yarder. Oh, from Sharon. A C word from Sam.
Yeah, this is true.
He's the bad influence, Sharon. And then Matt says, Sharon, I've checked, we are bizarrely allowed more C bombs than F bombs. So I can say,
no, you can't. No.
Okay.
You can't.
Matt says one of his favourite clips of Oz is him wandering onto a talk show set to present Sharon with a bunch of flowers. Oh, that is cute. And he was larger than life. Sharon says, random but needed. Big well done to our live on smashing her A levels and eventually getting to the uni she wants. Brilliant. Absolutely well done,
great
Liv.
work. Yep.
You,
well done,
you are a superstar. You are the best of the Powells. Matt then says, no to the title of my autobiography is for once. I thought he was going to say something sensible. Surely that's the title of mine, because I never say anything sensible. And then Matt says he knows it's the best heel turn. He just couldn't resist the joke. Matt says Rikishi never went to Jimmy and Trinity's wedding because her booking was far more important to him. C word. Do you want to say that one? That's one of your words. Do you want to say it?
It's not one of my words. People can assume what it is, yes.
Matt says Gordon has been sent off for a bad tackle on Virgil van Dijk, but the VAR has overturned the ref's decision. And Connor says shit people and wrestling go together like bread and butter. Exactly, Connor. From such a young person with a very sensible head on your shoulders. That's exactly what wrestling is. And then
indeed,
finally for now, Matt says, let's go Liv. Yeah, superb, Liv. You are a star.
Absolutely brilliant. So proud of her. I mean, as I am, all my kids are all doing so well. Charlie's getting herself sorted with school and stuff as well. Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. Couldn't be happier. Yeah, really good stuff. Anya's got a great job. All of it, mate. All of it. So this week's wrestling that we've missed, all wrestling in the last few weeks, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
before we dive on to our non-wrestling topic.
we missed
Oh,
SummerSlam.
we did. We did.
The first
We
ever
did.
2-night SummerSlam. Brilliant. I thought that I was thoroughly entertained during both nights. I don't think it needed to be 2 nights, but
No.
news has come out since that it was a way to maybe get out of the ESPN deal a little early because they were contracted to a certain number of shows, which meant they could then move over to Disney a little bit earlier. But I enjoyed SummerSlam. I thought the end with Brock was controversial, but I marked to hear that music and see Brock come out and lay Cena. I mean, a Cena versus Brock match in Cena's last run. I'm all about that. That seems fun to me.
Yep. So it's done its job.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. It's done its job. It's done its job, and the title is now away from Cena, which I'm not saying it is a good or a bad thing, but it's something that needed to happen. The closer we get to his retirement date, I suppose.
I enjoyed the heel turn. I think it kind of like lost a little bit of steam, but I did enjoy Cena being a bit of a knob. But I wanted him to be face for the last few weeks and months of the run because that's what we've known Cena to be. We don't want him going out to booze and a black tartan tron and not like taking that the flowers from the crowd. So yeah, I'm glad he's back to normal, and I'm glad The Rock weren't involved.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck The Rock. Arrogant prick. Ah, dear me. AEW this weekend I watched.
Yes.
I didn't see the opener, the Edge and Christian match, but I'm going to go back and watch that soon. I don't want to dive too much into it because I'm very thoughtful of our time, and I'm also supposed to be covering this for next week's Bang Bang with our good friend Andy there. But God, that company overbooks a lot, doesn't it?
I mean, it's a long run. It was a lot of wrestling, but it was some very, very good wrestling. That main event was fire. The world title match was brilliant. Like I said, Kyle Fletcher and Takahashi was superb. I thought it was a really good card. They knocked out the park. It was very long, but they did knock out the park.
There was some great stuff to watch. There was also some stuff that I don't enjoy in my wrestling. But this is the thing: when you get a show that long,
it's a
when
buffet.
You get a show that long, you should. To me, it should be a case of some stuff you like, some things you don't like when they're on that level because they're catering to such a broad audience. I don't think AEW does as good a job of catering to the broad audience as WWE does. I think AEW is maybe a little bit more into the indie side of things, a little bit more niche across the board, which maybe doesn't help them with people who don't want that type of wrestling. They're not attracting new fans because they are a bit more niche with what they're doing on a international platform. But there was stuff I enjoyed. There was some stuff I didn't enjoy, and there was some stuff I downright hated. You're going to have to dive into Bang Bang Podcast next Monday to get my proper in-depth thoughts on it, because I'm still processing a lot of it.
So check that out, folks. Bang Bang with some bald-headed tosspot called Andy.
There you go, Andy. Plug in your shit for you, mate. NXT magazine. I know you're a big NXT fan. Did you check out that show? How good was that? Any good? Or?
I have not watched it yet. I've got it on my
okay.
To watch list. It's just been like you said. It's been a very busy weekend for wrestling, and I just didn't find the time to watch it. But I'll definitely be watching. I know the results. I'm excited for what's coming up with Ricky Saints versus Obafemi. I think that'll be a banger. But yeah,
Ricky Saints.
Apparently, it was a really, really good show.
Excellent. I did go to put it on when I got into bed last night. I finished AEW.
You fell asleep.
I fell asleep, mate. I was pooped. I got out of bed.
It's because you're old.
Yeah, it's true. I got out of bed. My bed broke when I was camping as well. That didn't help.
Brilliant.
So I was
You bet your
fucked on
bed.
my back.
Oh,
Oh my God.
like your bed at home broke whilst you was away camping, or your camping bed
No,
broke?
my camp bed broke whilst my mate was fucking hammered on the Friday night, fell into the tent, took the side of the tent out, got up, walked into the tent, fell over on my other mate who was already asleep, then got up, fell over again, and then in the night I started to feel myself going like this.
Whilst
And
the
I looked,
legs folded outwards.
no, not even the legs, literally the metal bar, it's like 2 inch thick, was going like that,
It just weakened it.
where he'd hit it and just dented it. There was just a big divot in it. So yeah, he did not feel good on Saturday morning, and I enjoyed that. He did not feel good. Magsy, I think that's everything covered, isn't it? Should we dive into our non-wrestling topic?
We shall.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Non-wrestling topic time.
Good God Almighty, there will be no wrestling talk here. Business is about to pick up on chain wrestling. Side Lord Max, please cut it out.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Brilliant.
Okie doke, there we go. There we go. Right then, our non-wrestling topic this week. Not confirmed or okayed between the two of us because Lord Mags once again didn't answer his fucking phone, so I was left with no option just to chuck it out there because I ran out of time. But it is very much
It literally
inspired
gave me
by
2 days as well, folks. Normally,
yeah.
I'm pretty. I wouldn't say I'm on the ball, but I normally would reply quite quickly. But recently, I've just not been sellotape to my phone as much, and it took 2 days for me to even see the message that he'd sent.
Not hurt me the most.
My bad, folks.
Was when I'd seen on WhatsApp, I could see you'd been online and you still ignored my message. that broke my heart a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Apologies.
A tear rolled down my cheek. But yes, there we go. Inspired in part by me suffering when I come home from a 3-day festival. When in the past, you're supposed to do that and then go to work the next day. Our non-wrestling topic this week is feeling old. The passage of time. What is making you feel like you're getting older? It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're in your 70s or your 20s, whatever. Something will happen and make you go, oh, bloody hell. And that could be music, the band, dates of albums being released. It could be wrestling reminders. It could be stuff on Facebook or the Facebook memories posts that they bring up and so on. So anything goes. And Magsy, my word, did the CWF come out in force on this one?
Yeah, what a bunch of grumpy old tosspots they are, aren't they?
I'm happy to stand there as the spokesperson if needs be, because I fit into that category fully.
Yeah.
We begin then because
I am a grumpy old man.
I can't say I've noticed. I will read them out as always, Mags, in the order they came into us. We begin with our good friend Pigs Butters at Pigs Butters on Twitter. He says, waking up from a normal night's sleep to a new injury and having no idea how it happened. That's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've had recently, over the past, say, about a month, shoulder ache every single day. Like literally as if it's got arthritis or something like that. Like just having to move it about and doing like occupational therapy on it just to be able to like lift my arm up. Yeah, it's well annoying. I'm breaking apart at the joints.
Sharon, if you're still watching or listening, I assume you are, in the chat, can you say what it was that was it my thumb or my wrist? But I woke up one day and it just fucking hurt, and for like a week, and I got no idea what I'd done to it. But I was effectively disabled. It was horrific. And it must have been because I went to sleep in a certain way. It's ridiculous.
Oh, sleeping in a funny position is a killer. At this age,
yeah,
if you do not sleep in a very specific position, you are going to wake up in pain.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The man of few words, but he gets right to the point. Jimmy Evans, at Jimmy Evans for real on Twitter. He says, some songs, movies, TV shows, and video games. And when I said, okay, fair enough. Do you have anything more specific in mind? He blanked me. So thank you for that, Jimmy.
He give you all the information you needed from the post.
Yeah, straight to the point.
He wasn't going to follow up on it.
No, Jimmy was
in.
hold your information out.
Yeah, he's not holding your hand through this.
You've done 170 odd shows. You know what you're doing now. Here's the information you need, Si. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
Jimmy's got far more faith in me than I have. At Largely Speaking, our good friend Ben on Twitter, he says, the fact that I work with someone who was born in 2006, and this was going to be one of mine, but my word, I might as well talk about it now. Holy shit. This is painful.
2006.
Oh, my word.
2006.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter can now, my middle daughter can now buy a drink at a pub. She's 18. That blows. She was born in 2007. It's ridiculous.
It should be illegal, shouldn't it?
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed unless they're going to the shop for me. But then I could just write them a note like we used to in the old days. Do you remember? Please sell my daughter 20 Marlboro Gold and a 4-pack of lager. Cheers, Si.
I'll see you straight on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Better times, mate. Better times. MGB Graham at MGB Graham on Twitter, he says, having whole classes of students in high school whose birth year starts with 201.
Oh, I've seen some of these posts, but then now they're not turning up on my list.
My back's just creaked thinking about that.
2010s. No, that's
insane. Graham also continues, recording with those young whippersnappers, Matt and Niche Guy on Good Cop, Bad Cop.
I mean, they're not too young. Matt's knocking on 40's door.
Okay. So how old's Graham then? In his profile picture, he looks 61, 62?
I don't
think,
right? I think he may be late 40s / early 50s.
Really? He didn't moisturize, did he?
He has lived in Virginia for a long, long time. Okay. Very inbred is Virginia.
It's what, sorry?
It's very inbred. Like people's cousins are also their wives.
I thought, see, I don't know why. This shows how long I've been away from this show, how a break doesn't work for me, and how my mental sharpness disappears, what little mental sharpness I have. Because when you said inbred, naturally I should have jumped all over that, because we make those sort of jokes all the time. Wrongly, obviously, because we're disgusting people, but never mind. My mind actually went to, they make a lot of bread there.
Wow. That's when you know you're old. I'm actually being corrected. I'm being corrected by Matt saying that's West Virginia. I mean, it's America. It happens all over the country there.
In the South.
In the South, yes.
They don't, in the South, you can get strung up just for having a tan down there.
When they have one tooth between the whole family.
Yeah. Dear me. Anyway, Graham also says, having a son who will be at college next year is the one that hits the hardest, though. That is Mason now, and he has a picture of him there, which is, he's not a child, he's a man. So I don't believe that, I mean,
my youngest Carlos is a teacher. He teaches at a university. That's grim.
Yeah. Connor knows soccer. Now I'm looking forward to reading this one because
he's young as fuck. Yeah.
Connor, exactly.
Oh, I remember the 2020s so long ago. Twat.
Yeah, I've probably got underwear older than Connor. Connor says at Connor knows footy on Twitter.
He's wearing them now.
Yeah, I know I don't wear underwear when I do this show, mate. You know me, I'm butt naked from the waist down. Come on. Um, Connor says, current NFL backup quarterback, Andy Dalton. I don't believe any of those things are real words, but we'll continue. I remember the end of his college career around 2010, when that same year, TCU, Texas Christian, beat Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. Again, I think he's making all these words up.
I mean,
In April of 2011. The Cincinnati Bengals then drafted him. His rookie season in 2011, I remember faintly. He's now 37 and has been in the NFL for 14 years. This makes me feel old because I watched the guy play when I was 8 and I'm now 22. Okay, I can understand that.
but you're 22 though.
Yeah.
You have no business replying to this comment, Connor. As much as we love you, you should know when it's none of your business. You're too young for this shit. You were the problem, Connor. You are what make
you
feel old.
make us, but yeah. All this stuff about Wisconsin Bengals and rookie seasons in the Roses Bowl. It's all just fucking made up shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just letters.
It's just nonsense. It's absolutely not. It sounds more like one of these random Japanese cartoons where they just talk gobbledygook than an actual sport, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, it's just, it's backwards. Connor also says, COVID was 5 years ago, which is crazy to think about now. I was 16 when it started, and I'm now in my early 20s. Yeah, COVID is a funny one. COVID, I don't... It feels like it was 5 years ago. Then other times, it feels like it was only yesterday. Then other occasions, it feels like it was much further back than that.
Yeah.
Because so much has changed. It's,
I mean, in the same kind of mold as that, Brexit was nearly a decade ago.
Why? When we were all fucking lied to, you mean?
And we are still being lied to and still eating the shit now.
Let's not get into that. We're not a political show. But, no, I'm not going to do it because I'll get angry. Dear. We have Millwall Chris on Twitter. He says, I'm in a WhatsApp group and there's this guy from Bristol. I think we might know him, Max, but he's not named here. Who always reminds everyone how I'm older than everyone else. But I'm not naming names, though. The bold little shit, he says here.
Andy.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe, Andy. Maybe. I want to give a quick shout out, by the way. Mr. Benny Mack joining us in the chat this evening. Benny, lovely to see you, mate. I hope everything's going well. I know a couple of things have been going on a personal level, and me the same as well. But I hope you're doing well, buddy. And we'll get back with the waiting room very, very soon. But yeah, it's great to see Benny, mate. Hope you're doing well.
Absolutely. Love you, Benny.
Steve-O, at Elite FPL _Steve-O, he says, definitely what Graham wrote. Working with anyone who was born 2000 onwards. It's just wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. It feels almost paedophile, doesn't it?
Well, you haven't got to fuck them.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like paedophile adjacent. If you're working with someone who was born with a 2 at the beginning of their year, it's just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah. I get annoyed with things
just
they
in
say
general.
and do.
Just I get annoyed.
Yeah, in general,
that's just
I get annoyed. I get annoyed with things they say and do that make me feel old. So this again was going to be one of mine for the end, but I'll cover it now because Steve has brought it up. The place I work, references are brought up about certain types of media, like video players or cassettes. And there's 2 lads who work in my section who have never, ever even seen a videotape before.
Bastards.
And they didn't know what one was.
Arseholes.
Yeah, I just kicked them in the head. Straight off their stools. And then stole their dinner.
And then got a written warning.
Yeah. Steve-O also says, this was my nostalgia year, 2000. And I can't believe it was 25 years ago. Was when I was at school and not wanting to hear the results of No Way Out 2000. It feels like yesterday. Yeah, man, good times. Good times. Realizing
it's weird as well that I can remember shows and matches from around like the Attitude Era and going into the Ruthless Aggression, but yet a show that I've watched this year, I forget, even though it's that one was 25, 30 years ago.
See, I got a theory on that. I think because wrestling then
was good.
It was good, first of all, but all that argument about whether it was better than whatever aside, it felt like a treat still, and there wasn't so much of it. I remember TNA coming on TV and like whatever it was, 2000 and whatever, on Challenge and Bravo, and even if some of it was absolute shit, I still watched it because it was a treat. It was a new wrestling company.
Yeah,
you know. Whereas now it's fucking everywhere. You can get
spoiled.
Even indie companies that have got holes in their mat and the ropes aren't done up properly and all this. I won't name them, but I've seen them. They've got YouTube channels and streaming stuff, and they got and it's just like you can watch all sorts. It's like you could literally watch it from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed.
You could.
So it doesn't feel special anymore. But yeah, there we go. There we go. Steve-O continues. Realising an 18-year-old born in 2007 was when I'd have been at my peak music gig-going years, specifically underground deathcore acts, and they don't really have that anymore at most venues. As most venues are closed down, all the bands simply don't tour at all. Yeah, fair point.
So
2007 was a good year for me as well.
A whole scene of music has passed you by there, Steve. Or you've been in from the beginning and you've seen it out to the end.
Yes, indeed. Sitcoms being 20 plus, Steve says, The Office and Extras, but the big one will be the in-betweeners in a few years' time, being 20 years old. That definitely makes me feel old. Yeah.
So the guy who played Jay on it, I think he's called Jay or James in real life. He does a podcast with his wife.
Yes.
And he looks exactly the same, except he has a beard. But you can tell that he's aged so much, but he's still the same character. And that's 20 years ago he was playing that character. That's mental.
His wife's a bit of a sort, isn't she?
But she is Scottish.
Yeah, I don't mind that, I don't mind that. I quite like that tone of voice.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't know who she was. I looked at her and thought, she's quite attractive. So I did the standard Google thing where you look at the images and all that. Look at the last, don't you? Right. Yeah. And she back in the day, she was in Zoo and Nuts magazines all the time. And I was like, maybe that's where I recognise her from.
If you just covered the face, then you go, that's who she is.
Oh, yeah. Turn around. There we go. I got it now. Steve-O continues. I don't feel old when an athlete is competing at a level at just the age of 20. It's more looking at the specific sport like WWE or football and realising these athletes weren't born at peak times of said sport. A different way of looking at it, really. Peak Thierry Henry 20 years ago. Peak WWE 26, 27 years ago. That's a different way of looking at it, isn't it? The sports person themselves not making you feel old, but that they weren't born when that sports golden era may have happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way to not feel as old, but I think you're kind of avoiding the fact that you are old, Steve-O. I mean, you look at players now like Lamine Yamal. He is a teenager. He's one of the best players in the world. Yeah, he's a child. And he just makes you feel decrepit. I mean, put it like this. Blackburn Rovers won the league 30 years ago.
Yeah.
One of the more monumental trophy wins in you can't even call it recent history because it was 3 decades ago. That happened 30 years ago. Yep. That's mental. That's mental.
Crazy. playing a bog standard 4-4-2.
Yeah.
2 wingers, throw it in the box, have it up, good old English football.
Bastards.
Steve-O also says, realizing that what's sadly become more important is money going towards bills, and in my case and many others, unable to see friends as often as I used to
Yeah.
15 to 20 years ago. Again,
I
it's the
mean,
passage of time.
that's laugh, though. Unfortunately, that's what laugh is. We want all these mod cons; they must be paid for.
Exactly. Steve-O finishes up by saying, when I returned to work after 3 months off, it made him feel old. I felt old when a colleague said, What's happened to your hair? It's grey. I definitely felt old then, Steve-O said. What a rude fucker.
Welcome to our world.
Mm,
I mean,
yes.
you could go down the SAR route using Just for Men, or you could just grow old gracefully like me. But yeah, grey hair. Fuck off.
No fucking dye my. I'll tell you what, hand on heart right now, my kids' lives, I do not dye my fucking hair.
Then
I dye the shit out of my beard.
You go through a lot of boot polish then.
No, I dye my beard. I don't dye my hair. I look like fucking Santa with a belly this round and a grey beard this big, wouldn't I?
You must be keeping Sharpie in shares then.
No, honestly, you want to see the amount of grey I've got, especially in the sides of my hair. If I let my hair down, and put the light on it, you'll see the greys. Sharon, tell them I do not. I've never dyed my hair.
Stick up for me.
Fucking cheeky prick. However, to counter, Steve-O says, a lot of people think I'm 10 years younger than my actual age, usually stating, you're looking great for 40. Hang on, he's 10 years younger than my actual age. Oh, so he's 40.
No,
and they think he looks 30.
I think he tells them that he's 40. Yeah, he's 40. When he tells them that he's 40, they say, bloody hell, you look good for 40. Whereas people look at me and go, Jesus, you look good for 60. And I say, I'm only 45.
See, I know Steve-O is around that age, but even reading it here with him saying that, I want to go, that's bullshit. I don't believe him.
Because he looks nothing like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking mad, isn't it?
Yeah. He's been blessed.
Yeah, lucky bastard. You good-looking chap, Steve-O. We love you. From one good-looking fellow to all the way round on the other side of the world, from Ramsey Street itself, we have Mr. Mangle, at Mangle_Chris, and he says, other than the fact that everyone I cared about had health problems and eventually passed away in the time between 2019 and up until my mum passing away last year. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? That's sad.
Unfortunately, again, it's the passage of time. But the thing is to remember the good times with people that you care about, and
yeah, of course,
the bad stuff fades away. But yeah, that's sad to hear, Chris.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, mate. Sorry to hear. I do want to give a shout out to Chris as well, by the way. I know we always love it when he plays along with our silly joke about him being from Ramsey Street and so on. But he DMs the show and stuff quite often when we're on air because he couldn't put comments in the comment box and chips in and all this. And he says he misses us when we're not live and so on. He's absolutely brilliant part of the CWF, Chris. So yeah, love it a bit, mate. It's great to hear from you again, Mr. Mangle.
Fun fact about Chris Mangle. In the very early days of us going live, he actually blocked me on Twitter for a short while.
It's because you're a cunt.
I mean, I don't blame people for blocking me. That's twice in one show you've said this C word. That's shocking. Download Festival has changed you, sir.
I couldn't go to download, mate. That's far too much walking.
Whichever festival. Stone Island Festival. But yeah, Chris blocked me in the early days, and I don't blame him because I probably did say something fucking ridiculous or just said something to wound him up. But you know
probably
what?
All about pegging again, weren't you?
He's quietly become one of the pillars of our community, hasn't he?
100%, mate. 100%, without a doubt. Chris does continue. Things I feel too old for. Now, please bear in mind this may be different to what we're used to because he comes from so far away in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. As a kid, I loved the Marvel DC comics, with the X-Men being my favourites. Oh yeah, Sharon loved the X-Men. I know lots of other people do as well. An X-Men TV show, let alone a film franchise, would have been my thing, but I lost track and interest when they finally got round to it. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, because
Oh,
there was a run of about 4 or 5 X-Men films, weren't there?
there was a cartoon as well. Was everyone mad on the car? Again, that's not my world, mate.
Oh,
I don't
the
know.
X-Men
But there was an X-Men
cartoon was
cartoon.
elite. Yeah, it was elite.
Yeah.
It had
Okay.
probably the best intro video of any cartoon as well. So good.
Was it? I'm gonna have to
You
find track that
won't. You
down.
won't ever do that. So don't lie. Stop fibbing.
Why are you too old for it, Chris? That's nonsense. If you like it, just
Yeah.
give it a go. Try it.
Listen,
Just
if
give it
you
a-
like, if
who's in the
you
chat,
like it, yeah. He says, "Did I block you, Mags? Sorry, I can't remember that. I can be a bit block happy. Hey, it's all good. I don't. If I judge you as a better person for having a stand against some of the bollocks that I say, so you're a better person. But yeah, if you
You
like
deserved it, I expect.
watching cartoons, good on you. Do you know what I like to binge every now and again on YouTube?
Porn.
On YouTube.
Okay.
I did
no,
get
sorry,
that in
not porn.
first. You can't with porn now. You've got to age verify yourself, and nobody wants to verify this.
Tried, yeah.
They keep rejecting me. No, I like to binge watch Nightmare. Do you remember the old CRTV
yeah.
show? What was like virtual reality game?
No.
Every now and again, I'll bang on. There's a channel that's got pretty much every episode on, and I'll just put it on in the background, and it's brilliant. So yeah, you can watch it if you want.
Do you know what? There was a guy on Sky Sports News today. You know, like that, or was it yesterday? Whatever. One of these shows where they have like YouTubers or fans and reporters all sat down talking about transfer news and all that. And I got a thing about if you're on certain TV shows, you should dress appropriately. I fucking hate it when they turn up to Match of the Day dressed like scruffy fuckers and trainers. You're on Match of the Day for crying out loud. But on Sky Sports, a little bit more relaxed. I mean, when Channel 5 had the football, you could rock up in whatever you fucking wanted. It didn't really matter, did it? But this guy turned up and he had what do they call it, like a suit jacket or a sports jacket in America, don't they? Like smart pair of trousers on, but he had a t-shirt on, and I was like, you motherfucker. And then when it cut to him, a close-up of him, hang on, when it cut to a close-up of him, it was only a fucking Nightmare t-shirt.
Oh, well, then that's classy.
I was like, you can get away with it, mate.
Yeah.
You crack
Wash
on.
your mouth out for that. You judged him too early there, sir.
I jumped the gun, my friend. I jumped the gun.
You did.
Yeah, and if you want to give the X-Men, I mean, the X-Men films, I don't think are particularly for kids; they're for grown-ups as well. But what ultimately, we're all here now, sharing this bank holiday Monday evening, because it's bank holiday at this side of the world, Chris. In case you're wondering,
You're a dick.
because we all enjoy watching big people in their pants pretending to fight, and that's meant for children. Fuck it, mate.
Yeah,
give it a
go.
Who gives a shit?
Enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Unless it's paedophilia,
Chris, also,
then keep that to yourself.
Why?
I'm putting it out there to not enjoy it.
When you say don't enjoy it, it's almost like do it anyway, but don't take pleasure from it, is how it sounds.
That is not the message that I wanted to convey.
Well, that's the message you
it's
fucking
wrong
put out
in
there.
all forms.
I'm glad. Okay. Chris also says here he doesn't enjoy wrestling as much anymore either because there's just too much of it, and that's what we were saying about earlier, wasn't it?
No, he's right. There's so much of it. It's ridiculous. You genuinely have to plan your weekend around wrestling sometimes. It's just ridiculous.
Yes. Comment here from Matt in the chat that says move on, and I simply say no, bollocks, you're not the boss of us. We'll talk about paedophiles when we want to.
Yeah, he's the boss. as he lays out every meeting.
Oh my god, like we have meetings to arrange this. No one would believe this is organised beforehand. Fuck me. Chris also says here football makes him feel old because he doesn't know who most of the players are anymore, and I find myself wondering what happened to the ones I remember. I love thinking about the players from a kid. Oh, what is wrong with you now?
So there's a YouTube channel called I think it's called Retro Football Club, and they do kind of like retrospective videos, and one of the series that they do is they look at the old Panini football sticker books.
Wonderful.
But what they do is they'll pick off, say, the most underused player of each team, and they'll then dive into what they did during their career, what they've done after football. So good to honestly check it out. It's called Retro Football Club. A brilliant channel.
Stick the channel on Twitter, Magazine, and tag the Chain Wrestling account in it, and I'll
I'm
retweet
not
it
going
for everyone.
to be able to do that, am I? Well, I can.
Why not?
I'll do it.
Well, yeah. Well,
if I remember.
What was that protest about then?
Retro Football Club, it's called, anyway.
I like 90s players. Like they have that program on Sky, don't they? The Premier League years.
Yeah.
And it's like a little highlights program and all that. And it's narrated first of all by the lovely Georgie Thompson, so that's always a bonus. And they had like 92, 93 on the other day. I was in 94, 93, 94, whatever. And you're just looking at some of the players knocking around playing for Blackburn, or when Swindon were in the Premier League, and like Ian Colehouse, and oh yeah, great times. The goalkeeper for some games for Swindon, they got spanked like 7-1 by Blackburn and stuff like that. The guy who played a couple of games and got absolutely wrecked for Swindon ended up at Gloucester City. So there you go. He found his place.
He found his level, not his place, his level.
There we go. Chris also says, there are people talking on here who are watching the Brookside repeats. And he says it makes him feel old, realising that I remember what happened from the first time round, and the people discussing it weren't around then. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When somebody discovers an old TV show.
Is there a little Brookside repeat community knocking around?
It's coming back,
aware of this.
I think Brookside's coming back.
Like a reboot?
Yeah.
Oh,
I read
wow.
that. Did I read that online, or was I off my box and just made that up? I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't a massive fan, but I remember some of the big storylines. One of the characters got addicted to scratch cards. Did Trevor Jordash get buried under the patio by his daughter who he was paedophiling? Jesus, every time it drags back to the same fucking thing.
Dear me. CWF, people in the chat, do us a quick favour, obviously without leaving the show, if you can, Google Brookside coming back and see if that's actually true, or have I just made that up in some drunken stupor in a field somewhere. There we go. Via WhatsApp, Magsy, we have one guess.
Graham.
It's not, no, but close.
Would it be Matt the twat?
It's Mr. Lewis, and he says this week's non-wrestling topic. Where do I start with what makes me feel old? The first WrestleMania I watched was 17, which is only a year younger than my surrogate nephew, stroke son, Ben. And we got comments about WrestleMania 17 in the chat from Benny and so on as well, which we'll come to shortly. That in itself scares me a bit. He came to my 41st birthday meal last Wednesday, and he's now 25, or 25 next month. I met him when he was 10, and he was 4'8". Yeah, 4'8". He's now 6'3", covered in tattoos, but still gives me the biggest and best hugs. Given how bad this last week has been, they're very welcome. Yeah, watching people growing up. Yeah, watching people growing up is what makes me feel old. Matt says, yeah, 100%.
I mean, that goes for everyone. I mean, seeing like kids who they're now taller than you, they've got kids of their own, and you think, Jesus, I am old AF.
Indeed. And finally, we come to Mr. Matt Butler at Trey Butler, on Twitter, and he's got a few that make me smile a little bit, Maxie. So it's nice to finish on a nice, happy note.
That was a bit of a wanker's trick, because normally when you get to the WhatsApp one, it's time to close down the window. But now, you've done it. It's like you've done that on purpose.
No, I've normally I put the WhatsApp one at the end, but then Matt Butler's one came in after. So
I'll find it again.
Just run through it now. Don't worry about it. Matt says, "What makes me feel old? My joint pops and crackle like I'm made of fucking cinder toffee."
Yep, I feel your pain there. I feel your pain.
He says, I had a mohawk from 16 to 25, and now my hairline is receding at 42 in a manner that's remanufacturing one widow's peak for life, I suppose.
Sorry, I can't relate to that. I've got still got a thick, luscious head of hair, which has I'm going to die with a big, thick, luscious head of hair. It's just no receding here.
Okie doke. Kids buying booze that were born in 2010.
I hate
It's
it.
1997, for fuck's sake.
I mean, if they were born in 2010, that's still fairly illegal because they'd still be 15.
Oh, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is true, but kids will still try, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, who didn't try when they were 15? Or at least to try and get someone who's going into the shop to buy you some.
Yeah. Music, Matt says. So-called dance music records. I love the way he says so-called. That's a proper old man thing as well, right there, isn't it? So-called dance music
Wasn't
records.
like this in my day.
Yeah. Sampling tracks from my youth.
I hate it.
This is
hate it.
You can tell just by the words chosen, this is written with a real venom in his voice. Sampling tracks from my youth, which had already been sampled in my youth. Just play the fucking originals and call me a hypocrite or something. They sound wank.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So there's a song that it might be a couple years old by now, but my granddaughter absolutely loves it. It's David Guetta, and it's I'm Blue. And it's essentially the song Blue. It's that song. And I know the original, and I hate the fact that that song is more popular than the original. It pisses me off.
65, the original, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate songs 100%, like that.
Yeah.
Or when you hear a song and you hear the intro music and you think, wow, this is a throwback. I haven't heard this for ages. And then it's some other twat singing a totally different song and they've just nicked a sample. Oh, it boils my piss. It boils my piss, man.
Them young bastards. Matt also says, films. Production studios wanting to save money on original screenplays by remaking classic films. Give your head a wobble, save some more money, and re-release the original film, or give me something new. Modern life is devoid of originality top to toe. Very, very true. 100%.
Movies for me is the big kind of like measuring stick of how old I am. So Lord of the Rings, the first of the trilogy came out in 2001, 24 years ago. Clearly, I mean, it's only 24 years old. the original The Matrix was 1999.
I've seen that.
Forrest Gump was 1994. Shawshank Redemption, 1994. Mental.
Put that into context, that's the year Roberto Baggio knocked the ball over the crossbar in the World Cup.
It's just
long
ridiculous.
Time ago.
It's ridiculous how long ago it is. I hate it.
And to finish up with, Mr. Butler continues. Tiki-Tokers. Enough said. I'll tell you who influenced me as a kid. Tony Drago, Sean Goater, and Andy Weatherall. Who the fuck are these influencers? Yeah. Who the fuck are these influencers? Where do they come from? Is this like those cretins that found fame going on Big Brother and being classed as a celeb? Yes, it is.
Well, it's not even Big Brother now. It's Love Island, isn't it? You go on, you end up shagging someone on TV, and now you're famous on Love Island for nothing.
No, is that what you got to do? I could do that.
Yeah, go for it. I don't think Love Island is kind of your vibe.
No, I don't think so either. I just find all those people horrid.
Yeah, it's a show where people go on it and do ridiculous things because they want that to be their fame.
We had the word for that back in the day, didn't we? Do you remember?
Oh, when they used to kiss old grannies and drink a pint of vomit.
I'll do anything to get on TV segment. And that one guy cut loads of his pubes, put them in a sandwich and ate them and stuff like that.
The worst one was who snogged a granny.
Is that worse than eating pubes?
On live TV, he necked an old woman, tongs and everything,
Right.
who had maybe 4 teeth in her mouth, and he
Hmm.
got into her like he was ready to do the no pants dance. Oh,
Okay. Well, I mean, that's that done. We'll dive into the chat in a moment.
no,
But
it's not.
before,
We've
before
missed one. You
have we?
missed
Who have
one,
we missed?
and it's one of the OGs of the CWF. It's Dan Griffin.
Oh, how have I missed
Dan
that?
Griffin 21, and he says Tyrese Sinclair plays for York City, so I see him play regular. I remember his dad Frank playing for Chelsea, and the worst was a couple of years ago when a 21-year-old colleague asked how old I was, and she said I was about her mum's age. I was 34 and her mum was 39. That fucked me up. Oh,
You know.
my mum's age, though. What a dig. What a dig. Oh.
We'll throw it out quickly to the chat. Just respond with one word for your answers. Is eating a sandwich full of pubes on TV worse than snogging a granny? Just one word answers so we can count them quick. Right, either pubes or granny. And go. One that makes me feel really
You
old, Max, is on
child.
the level of the sports personality stuff. Tyrone Mings was he Villa, West Ham, wasn't he? Something like
Yeah,
that?
Villa.
Villa. Yeah.
And inexplicably, England.
Yeah, this is true. Now, he's not a young footballer anymore. He's 32. He's been around for a while. I can remember his dad playing for Gloucester City when I was a kid
Good.
and watching, and it was like stuff like that is just insane.
Mhm.
When you look at now, these people's and the amount of footballers you see make their debut, you watch their whole career, and now they're pundits or coaches or whatever. I feel old with that as well.
Yeah. It's scary. Life is passing us by, sir.
It is, mate. It is. Shall we scan through the chat?
Well, there's a
and
lot, so I'm going to miss some out because we are going long today, folks, and we haven't even covered the match. So
the match, yeah.
Apologies if I just brush past it. It's probably because your comment was a bit shit. So maybe think on next time of maybe doing it a bit better. We'll go here. Pigs Banner says, my shoulder is killing right now. No idea why. Age, mate. It's so bad. I hate this topic. I hate Sar for bringing it up and making me reflect on my own age. Shit face. Sharon says she's pretty sure it was your thumb that was hurting you.
It was so bad.
Matt says there's a guy in F1 now called Kimi Antonelli. He was born in 2007. I'm not even going any fucking further with that. That's fucking wrong. Graham turned 50 in May. We'll go to this. Ekitike scored 20 seconds after the restart, 2-0 Liverpool.
Don't care.
Matt says he once had to explain VHS to someone. They knew about vinyl at least. Yeah, vinyl is a big thing now. VHSs will never be a big thing again. It's getting older of VHS.
Just above me.
Shock. Of course you have.
I'll tell you what I've got. You keep reading it out, Maxie. And excuse me, I'm just going to stand up so you might get a shot of my crotch, but bear with me.
Benny Mac said, I put WrestleMania 17 on the other day with my youngest, so 24 years ago. I'm old, but it took me back to the night I was watching live on Sky Sports, missing the main event as I had to go to school tired as fuck and avoiding anybody. Is that a take that? You are a nonce. Sad doesn't need to dye his hair, but don't talk about his beard. I mean, he's admitted
the beard is very grey. The beard is very grey.
But you do use just for men. Benny says his daughter of the triple threat hardcore match, her face when Raven went through that table, went through the window was priceless. Matt says, Nightmare, he applied to go on that. That would have been awesome to go on that show. Then Connor says Columbus has a kid who was born in 2006 on their roster. He's been a regular contributor and has started a couple of games this season. His name is Taha Habroon. That should be illegal. Absolutely should be illegal. And he's also attracting the attention of scouts from City, United, and Fulham. Keep in mind he's only 19. That's amazing. Brookside is a one-off 30th anniversary episode.
Ah, okay.
And
That's a
also
shame.
a one-off to mark Hollyoaks' 30th anniversary. Hollyoaks has been going 30 years. Hollyoaks.
They're the same. Yeah, they're the same bloke, innit, who writes it and did the same bloke who did all the stuff for Brookside is the Hollyoaks guy now, isn't he?
There's a few characters in there. What's the same as not the same actual character, but the actor was in Brookside.
How are they going to do that then if there's a crossover between Brookside and Hollyoaks and those actors have been in both but played different characters?
A mirror.
Just both stand there and go like the Spider-Man fucking me.
So Benny says Brookside is set to return to screens as a part of a historic crossover with Hollyoaks. Hollyoaks celebrates. That makes me feel old. That Hollyoaks is 30 years old, and will mark a milestone with a special episode that also honors its predecessor Brookside and their creator Phil Redmond. So yeah, the more that you know. Baggio's penalty still hasn't landed.
You leave Roberto alone. One of my all-time favorites.
Shall we start a counter for the films that Sa hasn't seen? I mean, there's not enough
a long time ago, mate.
There's not enough
Bloody
numbers.
hell.
So here we go. Pubes, granny. But if you love your partner, you should be used to eating pubes. But I mean, that is it's a weird point and not a hill I'm willing to die on, but it is close.
Quick comment from Connor here. I hope your youngest isn't watching now, Si. What we're talking about, eating pubes and shagging grannies. Nobody mentioned shagging the grannies, mate. Where the fuck are you going with this? Is that what your generation's into? Hey, each to their own. Yeah, those VHS tapes that were just above my head here. There's a box behind with like my like Metallica and Megadeth and Wasp and all that. But this turns out to be Sharon's VHS tapes. So she
let's have a look
about keeping stuff.
Let's have a look.
There's
Let's get ready to rumble!
And the Crow to finish with.
Well played, sir. Well played.
No, it's all Backstreet Boys. That's why I wanted to bring it up because they were talking about the Backstreet Boys earlier.
Bid them.
So it's Backstreet Boys videotapes. Look at that. It was relevant because we're talking about.
And I bet you've got a video player to play them, haven't you?
I have, mate. I have, just under my feet here. It's not plugged into anything though. I'll put them there, nice and safe for now. So Magsy, we'll talk a bit of wrestling, shall we? Seeing as we are a wrestling podcast.
We are, allegedly.
An hour and 40 minutes in. Women's wrestling. We were on a bit of a women's wrestling kick before we took our little hiatus, and you put forward the option for the poll that you thought was one of the best women's matches that happened in a long, long time, and it won.
Shock horror.
Well, not shock
horror. I feel
like
I've not won for ages. I feel like I haven't won for ages.
That's only because we haven't done the show for ages.
I mean, that's by the by.
By the by, okay. It is the 1st of April. Well, that's shit because I didn't write down the year. But it's WrestleMania 39.
That's how old you are. It was only 3 years ago. Well, no, 2.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah, because we've just had WrestleMania 41, haven't we?
So very, very recent then.
Yeah, we're into the new school shit.
There we go. It's Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. I could remember the beginning of this when I pressed play, but halfway through the match, I genuinely couldn't remember who won. So it's quite interesting watching it back. I thought I knew going in, but halfway through, I was like, actually, I don't remember. I don't know if I'm right. So yeah, it's,
I mean, I knew the result because it was like the reverse of the match they had at WrestleMania 3 years before when Charlotte won the NXT title from Rhea.
Yeah, okay. Couple of things that I want to point out that I don't really like. First of all, the SmackDown Women's title. I think that's a stupid name for a championship. I appreciate it's the brand extension, it's the split. You got the Raw champion and but I don't like. I feel it makes it. It feels limited when you refer to them as the Raw champion or the SmackDown champion.
I do prefer the way that they do it now with the World Champion and the WWE Champion.
Yeah, Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. I mean, I personally would go a step further and only have one world champion that works both shows, and so. But we won't
I
get
do
into all
not.
that now, you know. Rhea Ripley's nickname of the Eradicator, I also think, is fucking silly. I think it's just absolute nonsense.
This was the transition to becoming mommy, though.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you, Max, actually, because obviously your memory's far better than I. Um, was she a heel going into this? Because she was
Yes,
with, yeah, because she was with Dom at this point, wasn't she?
she was a heel that people absolutely loved.
Right.
She was.
Okay.
That's how it worked. You know, like an anti-hero, like Austin used to be a shithead heel, but you cheered him because he was the
Yeah.
anti-hero. Rhea Ripley was someone who was meant to be a heel, being booked as a heel, but because she was so good, you just couldn't help but
Okay.
like her.
This place looks spectacular. This WrestleMania set and the big long angled walkway. It looks wonderful.
Glorious. It's glorious.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that WrestleMania Hollywood logo was available in the chain wrestling.
Till it got pulled for copyright.
We got hit by copyright for that one, Maxie, didn't we? Oh, but not by the WWE, by the Hollywood something or other commission.
Yeah.
So
For
WWE paid us no
stealing the
attention.
stand. Oh, well, I mean,
Oh dear
that's
me.
to be as expected. We go underneath the radar with WWE.
Yeah, thankfully. Apparently not
Where
with
now?
some form of the Cartoon Network Institute or however it's worded, because they stang us for our Rick and Morty one this week as well.
I mean, we have been stung before, though. We got stung for the
Yeah.
NWO music and the Scott Hall stuff. So
Yeah. But we're rebellious like that, so
yeah,
fight the system. The match begins then, and we get your standard back and forth as they're feeling each other out before Rhea Ripley sort of starts taking control because she's the more powerful of the two. And I quite like this because in most of Charlotte's matches, it's the other way round because she traditionally is the bigger of the ladies.
well, yeah. I think she's 6'1",
Yeah.
billed as 6'1", so she's always, or the majority of the time, towering over her opponent. So
Yeah.
she
So this is quite an
naturally
interesting
fills
thing, isn't it?
that role of the powerhouse. Yeah. So she's kind of got someone who she's met a match.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a really good way of starting off. We get I don't want to say a lengthy spot with the leg scissors being applied, but it was right for the moment it was in. Later on in the match, it wouldn't have worked, but you build the match, so you're building up, and sadly, it feels like maybe the crowd for this match at the start are either tired out because it's been a long show
long ass
or
day, yeah.
whatever, or they're just not into it yet, or whatever it may well be. Because it feels like they're not responding to anything these ladies do for the first maybe quarter of the match. But my words, they win them over, Max.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to the crowd, this match does start relatively slow.
Yeah.
They don't come firing out of the blocks, all guns blazing. This is definitely, it starts almost like a war of attrition to see who can take control of the match. And there is a little bit of back and forth of who's in the controlling position until Rhea starts using her power to gain that advantage. But I actually enjoyed the way it started slowly. I mean, you do tend to get matches recently where they'll start fast and you'll get a lot of big spots very early in, and then they'll fade into like a cool down period before picking up at the end. This follows almost like a more classic trajectory of starting slow and build into a crescendo. So I appreciated that. It felt different in a wrestling world where we've pretty much seen almost everything we can see. I like the way that they kind of book the trend of modern starts to wrestling matches by starting slow and building up.
Yeah, totally. Something else I don't like, and it's never going go away now. But Michael Cole on commentary says that obviously it's champion's advantage to Charlotte Flair. She's the champion, and we know how the rules work with countouts, disqualifications, etc. So Rhea Ripley has to pin or submit her opponent. And I hate that. It's make her opponent submit. It's not she has to submit Charlotte Flair. It's just bad English. Fucking grow up.
It's Michael Cole. He's used to bad grammar and memory lapses.
You know what? Did he start that then? Do you think? Did he? Because that wasn't a term when I was a kid. They used to say you have to make your opponent submit.
Or are you just misremembering? Is that confirmation bias?
No, I don't think I misremember anything.
I bet even the likes of Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon got things a little bit wrong back in the day, but we just wash over it because they are glorious.
I'm not explaining very well then. Sorry, that's my
fault.
Obviously. I'm not saying I'm not saying that this was a screw up by Michael Cole in this one sentence. I'm saying that this is the term that is used all the time.
And you think he's brought that into the lexicon?
Yeah. Did he bring that in? I don't know, because that wasn't back in the day. It was you have to make your opponent submit. Now it's you have to submit Charlotte Flair, and it's like,
I mean, if that's the thing that Michael,
is that the right term?
Yeah. If that's the thing that Michael Cole's brought in, it's very likely that that's a Vince term because he's shouting down the headphones all the way through the matches. So maybe it's just something that has fed through from Vince. Great comment here by Pigs Bladders. Sa misremembering. There we go.
Brilliant. Yeah, I don't enjoy it at all. For example, if you have Brett versus Bulldog WrestleMania 92, sorry, SummerSlam 92, and it's Brett's the champion, so the Bulldog has to pin Brett or submit Brett. That's not how they spoke back then. So that somebody brought that in, and I just don't like the term. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, it's a weird hill to be. It's a weird hill to die on and be asked about. To be fair,
I'm going to stand my ground. We do get a little bit of miscommunication though when we go over to the ropes and an elbow is going to be thrown or somebody's trying to a little bit messy, but nothing too drastic, and they get back on track very, very quickly. But then you notice again how quiet the crowd is at that exact moment.
There's points where at the beginning of the match where the crowd is so quiet you can hear Charlotte dictating the play. So there's a sequence where Rhea is forearming Charlotte in the back, and the crowd are so quiet that you can hear her say to Rhea, "Do it again." So she does it for a third time before we get a spot with the back elbow and then some work in the corner. But yeah, but to be fair, the crowd did pick up around the time I think the crowd really started getting hot when Rhea goes for a riptide and Charlotte counters it into a DDT, and it's glorious. It's
so good.
It's perfect. It's beautiful countering. The way Rhea gets sparked on the top of her head, flips fully over. Yeah. Oh my God. The crowd started to go wild then.
Yeah. And it's almost like old school wrestling, call it in the ring, etc., etc. They've got the crowd into it now, so they purposely go a bit quicker. They do more to carry that on, ride that wave, so to speak, with some quicker exchanges. Charlotte goes for two figure fours. She's kicked off both times before they both hit the ropes and go to give each other a high kick and flatten each other out and stop, and that allows the crowd just to settle before coming back up again. Real old school wrestling mentality, but it still works.
I mean, the spot didn't look as crisp as it could have. They both kind of pulled out a little bit too early, but it does give the crowd a chance to digest. And then we get the forearm spots where they're basically both on the knees, punching the living shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which always gets a reaction. Back and forth some more, both end up crashing and burning once more. then Charlotte Flair has the kip up, which straight away gets the crowd to react. Or a proper old school again. Always worked for Shawn Michaels and the Rock and Roll Express and whoever else. Always got a reaction.
Me when I do it.
Exactly. I imagine Mrs. Maggs applauds a great deal.
Laughs. Laughs a lot.
Laughs. That suplex off the top, Mags, was quite spectacular as well, wasn't it? That was quite the athleticism by both ladies there was incredible.
Yeah, for 2 6-foot Amazons to be pulling off some of the stuff that they pulled off in this match. Quality, absolute quality.
And the crowd are 100% awake now. They're fully into it. Something else I want to pick, not pick a hole in, but ask a question more so. The natural selection that Charlotte Flair does. So when her opponent is sat down on the mat, looking away from her, and she does a forward flip over her opponent, grabs the head and snaps it.
Yeah.
That was called natural selection since Charlotte Flair has started doing it. And it then made me think, what was it called before? Because Mr. Perfect used to do that.
Mr. Perfect used to do it. Was it called a snap? Something snap. Snap. Not snapmare.
No, the snapmare is more.
No, yeah. But Perfect did it better.
It really bugs me.
I mean, it's a name. How loads of people take a wrestling move and rename it for themselves.
No, not the renaming. That's absolutely fine.
But it bugs you that you don't remember what it was called.
Did it even have a name? I can't remember it being called on commentary. To even when I've gone back and rewatched matches, did they have a name for it at all?
I can't pull the name off the top of my head. I think it was just it was something. It feels like it was a generic like wrestling term,
right?
But I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check.
I don't remember them. I don't remember them ever calling it a name. So I don't know if
it was certainly not called a natural selection.
Or no. Anyway, we end up outside for a while, and we're brawling out by the crowd. Charlotte Flair gets fired into the steps, and then we're back in the ring very quickly, and Rhea Ripley goes for the Riptide again, which is countered into a German suplex. And then we exchange German suplexes a bit before Rhea Ripley. Well, I've just got ouch next to this one particular German suplex. Charlotte Flair, she takes it like her bones made of plasticine. She kind of curls herself up. It's really strange. It looks painful as hell.
Yeah, it's quite brutal. I mean, is that the spot where she ends up with essentially a broken nose for the rest of the match?
Yeah, she kind of comes down on her face, and yeah, crazy.
But there's a lot of camera zoom into a nose, and she's got a gash all the way down it, and it doesn't stop bleeding for the rest of the match.
Yeah. We're back outside again for a while, and Charlotte hits the high spot that we'd expect, the moonsault from the top rope to the floor. We're back in the ring again, and we get some more figure 4 attempts before Rhea Ripley again tries for the Riptide, but this time she actually manages to land it and gets a 2 count. And the crowd are popping now because I don't think
no one had kicked out of the Riptide as well.
Well, this is what I was going to get to, Mags. This is what I was going to get to. They've teased the figure 4, which obviously she then turns into the figure 8. And Rhea Ripley fights to get out of it because that's Charlotte's finisher. She knows she's in trouble if she gets in it. They've also teased the Riptide and Charlotte Flair fighting to avoid that. And just that in itself is a separate story in the match, avoiding the other person's finish.
Yeah.
And then when they actually do escape
because that's the end. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've made those finishes mean something. So when somebody on the big show kicks out at 2, it really means something.
Yeah.
Unlike when you watch certain AEW pay-per-views, and it's somebody hits a finish and their own. Cody Rhodes as well, to be fair. When was the last time you saw anyone get pinned from a crossroads? Just the one of them.
Did he not do it with Cena? Did he only get hit with one crossroads? I know he normally does multiple.
Yeah. Because that move has lost a lot of meaning now. One crossroads has been kicked out so often, and I think you've got to protect your finish as a pro wrestler. I think it's so important that you protect your finish, and we're in an era where some companies that doesn't happen anymore, and I think it has a
the
negative effect on the product for me.
the person to emulate in that regard is Scott Hall. If he knew he wasn't winning a match, he didn't do the Razor's Edge.
Yep, exactly, mate. Spot on. Rhea Ripley applies a fantastic looking submission again, and this is helped, I think, Mags, by how tall she is herself, so she can proper lift Charlotte Flair's legs in that sort of cloverleaf hold she has.
Yeah.
It looks incredible, doesn't it? Really, really, really great move. It's split apart, and then Charlotte Flair comes off the ropes and nails a spear for another close 2 count, and the crowd are going fucking insane.
Now we're getting the near falls, and
Yes.
the pace is picking up, the brutality is picking up. This match is starting to really bubble over.
Yeah, indeed. Lots of back and forth with the trading of punches and forearms, and the crowd are chanting one way, booing the other, and so on. The figure 4 into the figure 8 is finally applied. Rhea Ripley gets to the ropes very quickly. So still, even though it's been used, protecting the finish. See, it's not hard to do.
And you could see Charlotte getting frustrated now because she's got to the point where she could lock in the figure 4, but she's still been able to escape it via the rope.
Yeah, exactly. And this is when eventually, now we both end up climbing the ropes, and we're fighting on the top of the ropes, which again is always a spectacle, isn't it? It's always really incredible to look at when 2 wrestlers of any size are doing that. And Charlotte Flair has her head rammed into the post,
which I thought was a really good sell by Charlotte Flair. She hits the top of the LED post surround, and
it's like a hexagon, isn't it?
And she is knocked out for all intents and purposes, and then Rhea kind of almost slips getting into position, which, bear in mind, again, you talk about 2 women who are 6 foot, absolute weapons, and they are maneuvering on 2 very small ropes for him to get into position to be able to pull off a super avalanche riptide. So props to him for being able to pull it off and not absolutely making a pig's ear of the move. But you can see Rhea Ripley with the camera zoom in thank Charlotte for a match, and then she pulls off the riptide, stacks Charlotte up in a position that would probably excite 60% of wrestling fans, and Rhea gets her win back from WrestleMania 3 years ago and becomes the new SmackDown champion.
There we go. I really like the banging of the head on the ring post and Charlotte being disorientated because she's tried so hard to avoid getting in that move. She tried so hard to avoid the riptide all match long. But on this occasion, she can't because of the knock she's took momentarily before, and it finally does finish her off.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. It's logical. And it again, I don't want to keep pointing out that I'm digging at AEW all the time because I'm not. I enjoyed so much of what I saw this weekend. But there's so many ways you can tell a great story without having to do things that affect your own product down the road. And I think that's what happens with them. But that's for another day. Before we get on to our links for next week's show, Magsy, we need to rate what we have just seen. So out of 10, what are you thinking?
So before I get into critiquing and rating the match, one thing that pissed me off about this match, it was actually the video package at the beginning. So the way this match came about was obviously from Rhea going Broadway and winning the Royal Rumble from number 1. Absolutely amazing. But the video package says multiple times that she will get to main event a WrestleMania against the champion that she chooses. This isn't the main event of any of the nights of WrestleMania. This is fucking smack bang in the middle of the card. And that absolutely pisses me off. Don't say it's going to be a main event if it's going to be in the middle of the main card. You are not working with the fucking demon from Kiss, where you've got to have a special main attraction, main event just to stick with your contract. If you were ever going to put it as the main event, don't say it's going to be the main event. But as with the into the match, it started off like a classic wrestling match. I think it was really well timed. The spots made sense. The two wrestlers were, I mean, Charlotte was at the peak of her abilities, and Rhea is definitely coming into her own around about now. This match is fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I don't think it's perfect. There's certain things that you can niggle at, but I think it's at 8.5 from me.
Okay, interesting. On the note of the visual package and the Mania main event line and so on, I completely agree with you. I feel that if you stipulate something that far out, you're booking yourself into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
If you just say you get to wrestle the champion of your choosing at WrestleMania and it ends up being the main event, fantastic.
I think it also it kind of shows how WWE, especially over recent years, treat their viewers as if they have short-term memory loss. Yeah, I mean, you watch an episode of Raw or SmackDown or even a pay-per-view, and they repeat stuff over and over again as if you haven't watched the last 5 minutes, or you've forgotten what happened 10 seconds ago. And I think it speaks a lot of that they say something, and because they're firing so much information, that things get lost, and people might not have necessarily picked up on the fact that they said this was going to be a main event, and it just gets kind of lost in the shuffle. But it does annoy me when they say stuff like that.
Do you think that's a hangover from the Attitude Era time? Maybe I don't know. I'm asking. I'm genuinely asking your thoughts on it. Do you think it's a hangover from the Attitude Era time? Because during the Monday Night War, of course, you'd have people cutting from show to show and being on the top of the hour, and then every 15-minute mark afterwards with ad breaks, you would try and catch the viewers flicking between shows, and then, oh, here's a replay of what happened. And Nitro was guilty of the same thing as Raw. You used to get replays of what happened just before the ad break to hook people in to staying with the show. If you've just gone from Nitro to Raw or vice versa in the ad breaks, and almost like a hook to keep people watching, because they were monitoring the viewers for every 15 minutes onwards and so on, weren't they? Do you think that's a hangover from that time?
I think it's probably got a little bit of an influence on it, but I think the biggest factor is the attention span of viewers now. I mean, how many people are watching wrestling but also on the phone, on TikTok, on X? So I think it's a case of repeating, because it's very likely that someone who is watching the show is missing things because they're watching things on X or posting on TikTok and stuff like that. So it's the way of the world, and just everything has to be instantaneous. And this is another point by Pig's Bladders, who makes a really good point here. He says it's actually cheaper to keep playing repeats and promos than actually script content as well. Yeah,
good shot.
That's another point. Yeah,
it's ironic as well in a way, isn't it? It's ironic in a way as well that nowadays, when you're consuming your wrestling content, majority of the time, if you're doing something else, or there is a risk of you missing a moment, you can actually pause it or rewind it.
Correct.
Whereas back in those days, you couldn't.
And irony, you can fast forward the bits that you couldn't really give a shit about.
Well, there you go. I'm nearly the same as you, Magsy. I'll show you my notes just there. If you can see, 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it because it made fucking sense. They looked after their finishes, which then meant their finishes meant something when they hit them. They started slow and told a story. Just a great structured, a really well-structured wrestling match. And a lot of wrestling, I think, could look at things like this and think, okay, this is how to put matches together. I think it was really well booked. So yeah, a great match. Really enjoyed it. 8 out of 10 for me, bud. So then, where would you like to go next week? And if anyone's joining us for the very first time, hello, whether it's on the audio version later in the week. Well, actually, no, the audio version will be out this time tomorrow because I'm going to work on it as soon as we finish. But or you're joining us live on YouTube or watching a replay. The whole point of this show is we link from one match to another, and then to another, and then to another. So the match we just looked at, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania 39. Magsy will now put forward a match that he can link to this. I will put forward a choice as well, and then you vote on our social media accounts to decide which way we go. The idea being from episode 1 right through to next week's episode 178, you can follow it all the way along.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever idea. Posted by two idiots.
there are sometimes very tenuous links, and sometimes the links are absolutely spot on. So this match was given a 4.5 stars by Shagger Dave Meltzer. Now, obviously, we aren't exactly the biggest fans of Shagger Dave. I think he's his time has been the go-to man of wrestling news and ratings has come and gone. But
he's always done me all right, mind. Whenever the minimal interactions I've had, he's always been sound with me.
I mean, I've never interacted with him. I just think sometimes he shoots bad news out and then just uses the old plans change bollocks.
Yes.
But as a measuring stick for matches, he's usually on the money. You can argue with point here and point there, but he's usually on the money.
You can say ballpark, Magsy, can't you? I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a 4.5 at a WrestleMania women's match. Up until recently, the highest rated women's match on a WrestleMania. That was until this past WrestleMania. So I want to go to WrestleMania 41, where we get Bianca Belair versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, which Shagger Dave gave a 5-star rating. So that's my link. WrestleMania 41. Bianca versus Io versus Rhea Ripley in a perfect match, according to Dave.
Now, long-term listeners to the show will know that I normally don't remember much about fucking anything, but that's only been a few months ago, and I can remember.
And I still can't remember it now.
And I can remember that being one of my highlights of the whole weekend. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and would that be? There's a chance that would be the most up-to-date thing we've ever covered on the show
by a long shot. By a long shot. I think that this match we've just covered was probably the most recent, and I'm going to smash that record next week.
Wow. Okay. Or you could vote for my choice, which is going the other direction in time.
Back in today.
This match took place on April the 1st. And I was really struggling for a link, Max. Really struggling.
34.
No. This match here took place that we just looked at, April the 1st.
Oh, thank God.
And I was really struggling for a link. So I was looking down the cards, looking at the whatever. I'm really struggling for a link. And I thought, well, why don't I just look at historic wrestling moments, matches, or events that happened on April the 1st from any particular year? And it brought out quite a few. There's quite a few episodes of Raw, SmackDown. There was an episode of WWF Superstars from 1995. I thought, well, I wonder what's on there. Clicked on it. Not a single fucking match. So that must have been a good fun hour for the viewers.
There wasn't a match on an
not a single match. No, it was actually it actually worked out to because the April the 1st episode of Superstars that year was the sort of promotional episode going into WrestleMania. WrestleMania 11. So, but there wasn't a single match on the show. So
it was all interviews and from the control room and
exactly. It also gave me a list of wrestlers who were born, died, and retired on this particular day. And we want to talk about going back. Frank Gotch died on April the 1st, 1917. Now, I've got nothing more to that. I just wanted to see how worried your little face would go, and it's gone very worried.
I genuinely shit it.
No, we are not going that far back. We're only going a few more years. A match that we have danced around on the list, or on the links, on the polls, and so on. Both of us have put options up from around this era, and both of us have had winners for this kind of thing. But one particular match, oddly, neither of us put forward. So I'm going to put it up now. I would like to go back to April the 1st, 2017. So recent by my standards. It's a triple threat as well,
That's
Maxie,
in
kind of like
colour
yours.
and everything.
It is. And it's from NXT TakeOver Orlando. And it's... Are you okay?
I'm just excited because you're picking an NXT match from a takeover. Oh,
It's... And
never
you'll
thought
remember
this day
era.
would come.
Well, you'll recall this era because we did sort of dance around all of these similar matches from this time and these tag team rivalry. We have the Authors of Pain versus the Revival versus DIY in a triple threat match for the NXT NXT tag team titles. So that is my option with April the 1st.
I rescind my pick, folks. I rescind my pick. A 5-star women's match over that. I know where I'm voting.
I'll tell you what, I think we have had some really good polls in the past. But I think there's also been times when you've picked some absolute shit and I've picked some fucking gold. And
Bollocks!
picked some.
You have picked some absolute dog shit, like Barry Windham bollocks.
Don't fucking start on Barry again.
Oh,
but yeah, this time, these polls here, oh my word. This is probably the most highest quality in-ring matches we've had. Don't go looking for that Barry Windham ticker that runs across the bottom of the screen. 33 better Barrys than Barry Windham, or whatever it is you wrote.
I'm not doing that. Why would you think I'm going to do that?
When you're fibbing, your voice goes up to certain, like an octave. And
I think Barry Windham's grand.
Okay, of course you fucking do. So there you go. That is your poll for this week. It will be up on our Chain Wrestling Twitter account. That's at @Chain_Wrestling. And we have 2 triple threats to choose from. We have Bianca Belair versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley from this year's WrestleMania. 5 stars from old Shagger Dave Meltzer. Or we go back just a little bit further to 2017 and we go to NXT TakeOver Orlando, Authors of Pain versus Revival versus DIY for a bit of black and gold tag team goodness. Make sure you're voting, retweeting, etc., and all of that good stuff. Maxie, do we have a road story this week, or are we just going to go through the chat and get out of here?
I mean, I do have a road story, but it is quite lengthy. And I've got to find it because I've lost it. There it is. And now I've got to find the video. Sorry about this, folks. I was looking for the Barry Windham link. But,
leave Barry alone. So, what have you got for us, Maxie?
So, this week, we're going for a little jaunt in TNA, and it involves a regular on these road stories for someone who reacts to being ribbed, not in the best of ways. He tends to run away a lot. Rhino, the man beast. He loves to run away from a road story. So James Stone, Cowboy James Stone, he was once doing a few shows in Tennessee with TNA, and he was driving him and Rhino and Billy Gunn back to his house because they were staying there whilst they were doing this Tennessee circuit. And he says that Billy and him were out drinking the night before the show, so they asked Rhino if he would drive. And they were going to a town called Jackson, Tennessee. And unbeknownst to the rest of the wrestlers, James Stone's brother was a police officer in Jackson, Tennessee. And they don't look anything like each other. So this gave James the idea to pull a little bit of hijinks. So he got his brother to pull the car over and mess with Rhino. So his brother flashes the lights, pulls the car over, comes up to the window, gets him to wind the window down and put his hands on the steering wheel. Meanwhile, James is acting like an absolute jackass. He's throwing his fries and they're hitting Rhino on the head, and Rhino is trying to swear at him under his breath. So James's brother asks Rhino for his license and registration. Rhino gives him the documents, but he says he doesn't know where the car's registration documents are because it's not his car, it's James Stone's car, and he points to him. So James's brother says, "What's his name then?" And Rhino says, "I don't know." And so the police officers, "What do you mean you don't know whose car his name, whose car it is?" He says, "Well, we don't really know each other's real name." He says, "Because we're all professional wrestlers and we have like character names." James's brother says that he doesn't watch or believe in all that pro wrestling nonsense. He then asks Rhino if he's been drinking. Rhino says no. At which point James Stone says he's been taking steroids though. Now Billy, who wasn't apparently in on this joke, starts to get a little bit worried, and he starts to try and calm James down whilst Rhino is absolutely bricking himself. So the officer gets Rhino out of the car and starts to do the field sobriety tests. And then James, he has some bullets in the back of his car because one of the things he likes to do is go target shooting. So he picks up a bullet, holds it up to the window, and says, "Officer, he's got a gun on him." So Rhino now is absolutely bricking it, turns around to look at James, and then turns back to see that James' brother's pulled his taser and he's aiming it at Rhino now.
My word.
And Rhino is absolutely shitting his pants now. The officer screams at him to put his hands on his head. Rhino puts his hands up, but the officer keeps saying, "No, put him higher," to the point where Rhino is on his tiptoes trying to put his hands as high as possible. He then gets cuffed and gets told he's going to jail. And then he starts to walk him over to his police car. At this point, James Stone gets out of the car, comes running over, and clocks his brother from behind.
Oh my word!
His brother goes down as if he's been knocked out, clearly selling the action. Rhino turns around, still cuffed, and he says, "What the fuck have you just done?" So James Stone says, come on, we'll get out of here. We'll rip the camera out of his car. They'll never know it was us. And at this point, Rhino reverts to type, says, "Fuck this, I'm leaving," and starts running through the nearby woods. At this point,
handcuffed.
Still with the cuffs on, yeah.
Oh my God.
At this point, James knew that the rib had gone a little bit overboard and shouts to Rhino what was happening, and that this was his brother. Rhino says he was going to run to the nearest house he could find and call the cops and tell them that James Stone had gone absolutely crazy and got him arrested. So, this week, Rhino being the big old bitch that he is.
That is fantastic. I love that. That is so good. James Storm, man. You can imagine him getting like proper into it as well, being a proper wind-up merchant, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I love it, Magsy. I love it. And what a great note to finish this wonderful evening off. I've had a great time here, back on a Monday for the first time.
What a comeback show.
Great stuff, man. Love it. And on Monday as well, proper old school, classic almost. But we'll be back Tuesdays, I expect, after this. But keep your eye on our social medias to find out exactly when and what night we will be back live. You can do that by finding us on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, etc., by searching @chain_wrestling. And the network that carries this show, SJP World Media, also has loads more shows on it with loads more talented presenters than us two idiots, looking at various different TV shows, sports, music, all sorts going on. More live shows via our YouTube channel as well, when we have our good friends Dan Griffin and Mr. Matt Lewis checking out Premier League football and so on the volley and giving you alternative commentary there. So make sure you check an eye for that if football is your thing. And like I said, music, wrestling, sport, all sorts going on. So make sure you're following and checking out everything on SJP World Media. But @chain_wrestling is where you will find our non-wrestling topic for you to get involved in every week. And of course, the poll to vote for where we go next in the chain. Magsy, your social medias, my friend, before we depart.
So I have an X account. @PodfatherMags. I don't use it apart from for this show, so ignore that. You can find me though on TikTok @PodfarmerMags, where I've not posted for a little while, but I will get back into the swing of things. You can find my chicken and duck stories, or you can follow my journey in cutting a bit of the timber off. Up to press, I have lost 99.96 pounds.
Internet connection? Because you were frozen.
Yeah, I have lost an internet connection, but I'm just saying I have lost 99.96 pounds.
Holy shit.
Since the beginning of the year. So
that's incredible. Well done, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
I
well
appreciate
done.
That.
Yeah,
I'm still a big husky lad, but not as husky as I was.
a mildly husky lad. There we go. The only thing left to do then is for me to say thank you so much to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much to everyone who listens on the audio version. Thank you so much to everyone who votes in the polls and gets involved in our non-wrestling topic. We say it all the time, but it rings true for this show more than any other podcast I know. This is your show. You make this. You answer the non-wrestling topic. You vote in the poll. You decide what we two idiots discuss on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday evening. So there we go. @chain_wrestling on all your social medias. Make sure you keep an eye on that. This has been a blast. Magsy, I'm off now to do a little bit of editing and have a couple of beers, my friend. But I'm peckish too. I'll speak to you very, very soon, buddy.
Barry Windham has had 5 5-star matches.